HG lifestyle. It's a mindset. Make sure you adopt it, baby. What's going on, everybody? Welcome once again to the HG Lifestyle Show. As always, it's your host, your boy, Johnny B. And guys, today I have a very, very special guest, and I'm excited to have him on here. We've actually been talking for a while, but he's a busy man. He's trying to run the company he runs, and, you know, things just kind of get busy. So we finally made it happen. So, guys, I want to introduce you to David Pontious. Now, this guy's a PA, man, and he's helped me out in my therapy with my health. So why don't you introduce yourself real quick, Dave?
Okay, well, I'm a physician assistant. I've been a PA for about 14 years. I started off treating, I ran 3 weight loss clinics here in Salt Lake City. And so, and weight loss is great. It ends up being kind of a difficult process to kind of coach people through that.
Yeah, I imagine.
And then these ladies would get in there and they couldn't lose weight. And so I got into the hormone side of things.
Oh.
And so I really enjoyed the hormones. And then I found Ageless Men's Health, and a great fit because I was part of the club.
Right.
I started having hormone issues, and so I started doing some research, and I figured out my body, and then Ageless Men's Health is exactly what I figured out with myself as well.
Okay.
And so then that's what started me down this pathway.
Wow, so you've been doing it for a while, but you started with weight loss, but you realized that no matter how hard they were working, it just wasn't happening for them because it has to do a lot with your hormonal balance, right?
Correct.
Yeah, and I tell people that all the time, man, because people don't really believe it. But guys, as you age, your hormones are all out of whack. They're all out of balance. They really are. And you got to go seek help. It's changed my life. And that's why I wanted to have him on here. And we'll talk a lot about that because, dude, when you and I talk, I'm always like, damn, I always learn something new. But what I really want them to know, man, is, you know, a little bit about where you started, man. How did you grow up? How did you even get to where you are today, man? Because I would say that what you're doing today is pretty cool, man. It's pretty awesome because you've changed my life. Right? So I know you can change a lot of people's lives as well. So how did you grow up, man? How was it for you as a kid? What drove you here?
Really good question. So my family is actually from Compton, California. So my parents grew up there in the 1940s. They were born there, and both graduated from Compton High. And so, you know, that kind of turned into not the greatest neighborhood. So,
right.
So they moved over to Long Beach. And so I spent some time growing up in the Compton, Long Beach area. You know, bless my parents' hearts. You know, they're great people, or were great people, but they're both married 5 times each. So
wow.
that caused me to move 37 times so far in my life.
37 times. Wow.
And so kind of growing up in the hood, and, you know, very low financial, you know, options for me. And so I kind of, at some point in my life, I started looking around and going, well, who's the haves and who's the have-nots?
Right.
And so I decided to go to college. And so this is kind of my second career being a PA. My first career, I was an auto parts salesman.
Okay.
And so I was running a bunch of clinics down in Southern California, or not clinics, but a bunch of stores. And so in my 20s, I was over a bunch of auto parts stores down there. And again, I kind of worked myself up in the company, and I was like, this is not where I want to be at.
Right.
And so then I kind of moved over, and I decided to go into medicine, and I was actually going to head off and be a dentist like my brother. But my wife looked at me one day and she's like, you're kind of a big dude, you know? And,
yeah.
You know, and I'm 6'6", you know, 300 pounds. And,
yeah.
and my wife's like, do you want to put your big hands in people's mouths all day?
Right.
You know? And I'm like, good point. And so then I kind of moved into the PA realm. And so my wife's family is super into the weight loss realm of things.
Right.
And so her dad started a weight loss chain back in the like 40 years ago.
Wow.
And it's called MD Diet. And so then his kids have kind of picked up, and they've opened a bunch in the country. And so that was kind of my goal, is I wanted to open up a bunch of those. But then I realized that there's a different side of things, because weight loss ends up being just a lot of babysitting.
Right.
And then and a lot of like pushing pills and appetite suppressants.
Right.
And I just realized, I'm like, I don't want to sit and just feed pills to people all day.
Right.
You know, I want to make a difference.
Right. Sure.
And then I started that pathway. I read a book on hormones, and it changed my life. You know, and it's on female hormones, but the basis is basically what your doctor doesn't tell you about menopause and premenopause.
Right.
And so then I started down that pathway, and then I realized pretty quick, that men have the same problem.
Yeah.
Men go through their version of menopause.
Right.
It's called andropause. And so I started doing research and studying and realizing is that, man, if you're a dude our age, you're in your mid-30s and 40s, and you start falling apart, there's answers.
See, that's beautiful there, man, because there is, and I didn't know that either. See, I mentioned to you a while ago, but my 20s, I was a piece of shit, pill-popping drug addict, and later on I found out that opiates really kill your test levels, and I had no idea. I just knew that I was low on energy, and I've always been kind of a freaky wild guy, man. I enjoyed a good, healthy sex life, and that was gone, bro. And at a young age, that made me feel like, man, this is it, so it definitely changed my life. But there's a few things I want to unpack, man, because a lot of people, obviously you grew up in Compton, moved around a lot, man. There's a lot of people that kind of use that as an excuse to say, well, you know what, this is kind of, most people in my situation don't ever do shit anyway. So what kind of pushed you to say, I mean, I know you say you looked around and you're like, who has not, right? And you decided, fuck it, I'm going to do something for me, man. But did you have any role models that you looked up to, or what was it that drove you down that different path? Because I know a lot of people from Compton too, and they're not here where you are today, man. They're not. So what drove you to that?
That's a really good question. And I don't know if there's any one specific person. It's just, but living in your life, when you're where you came from, and you're sitting down at the bottom, and you're kind of looking up, and you're like, well, you come to a crossroads, and I was kind of a little thug back then,
right.
Gosh, I had this patient the other day, and he did 10 years in prison,
Jeez.
Right, for selling drugs and stuff. And so he feels really bad about himself, and he's done a lot of bad things in his life. And so I told him, I says, well, you know what's different between you and me? You got caught.
Right.
We all do things wrong every
I agree.
day.
Yeah.
And because we haven't got caught up in the system, then we look like we're not a bad guy.
Right.
So you kind of go through life and you meet people and gosh, I wish I had a really good answer for you other than I just paid attention.
Right.
And I saw people and met people and who's the haves nots, driving the nice cars, having the nice houses. And I certainly didn't want to live where I lived, growing up with bars on the windows and, gunshots and helicopters. And I'm like, I need to get out.
Right.
And you just open your eyes and pay attention. You can find your way out.
See, pay attention, though. You hear that? That's the key thing. He paid attention because, guys, at the end of the day, we all, like he said, man, I hate it when I hear somebody talk shit about a felon. Look, I guarantee you 95% of people is a felon. Just not on paper because they haven't been caught like you said, right? But obviously you paid attention and you realized, hey, look, this is not the direction I want to go. And man, I'm personally myself, I'm a patient of his clinic, which is the Ageless Men's Health Clinic. And dude, every time I go, man, I see a lot of people in and out. So you guys are obviously doing well, but I also noticed the other day a female patient there. So you guys help females as well with their hormones there, or?
Yeah, I call it the secret menu because our clinic says Ageless Men's Health.
Yeah, that's why I asked, because it's Ageless Men's Health Center. Yeah,
but it's interesting because we get these guys and we create this wow factor. So we get guys like you walking in and it's like, hey, I'm falling apart, and I'll go through that syndrome as far as like what it is to be low testosterone, and guys just don't have any answers. And so they come in and we change their lives.
Right.
And then they go home and their wife's like, man,
who is this new man? Yeah.
He wants sex more often, his energy's up, he's sleeping better at night, he has that vitality.
Right.
And the wives are like, well, hello, what about me?
Right.
So they bring their wives in and we give them what I call the lady dose.
Right.
So it's a lot more watered down version than what we get because that's not the woman's primary hormones.
Right.
But dude, it fixes, relationships.
Yeah.
So many times they get the husband and wife and it's almost like date night.
Right.
So they get to walk in and they hang out, they get a couple shots, they go on their date, and just like mentally, physically, sexually, it just puts them on the same level.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I wanted to have you on here, Doug, because I think it's important. One of the biggest things that we preach with the HG lifestyle is the 5 fundamentals, the big F5, and fitness, health is a huge one on there. In fact, I put it before money. I put it before the financial freedom. Because guys, health is wealth, and I'm a witness, and that's why I want to preach it to like man, I just want to yell it off the top of my lungs because health is so important. And when I started on my treatment, because I feel like the issue that a lot of men have, and this is because me personally, I had this issue. I didn't want to feel like I just wasn't a man, right? So I didn't want to go around saying, oh, my testosterone levels are low, because I just felt weak saying it. But today, man, I realized that was just my ego talking, and now I'm proud to say it. Look, my test levels were low, and I struggled with it mentally. Dude, there's so many horrible. Why don't you tell them that? What are the side effects of low testosterone? Because if you're listening and you're going through these side effects and you're local, hit up the Ageless Men's Health Center, but tell them some of the side effects because they suck, man.
No, it's a good question. So, and I'll kind of tell you a little bit of my background with this too, because most and at the time I was actually a PA when I was kind of going through this, and so I was like 33, 34, 35. I had my 4 kids, and and the wife told me, she's like, so we had our last kid, and she's like, you ain't touching me till you get fixed, man, because we don't want 5 kids.
Right.
And so I thought, well, gosh, all my friends have got a vasectomy. Right. So I'll go run off and get a vasectomy. It's like, whatever, that's what we do. Right. And dude, my world changed. Everything fell apart. And so I started having all these symptoms. And so basically it's the poor mental cognition. It's the feeling moody, grumpy, anxiety, depression, weight gain, tired, lack of energy, daytime sleepiness, poor erections, sex drives down. And so you start dealing with all these things, and you go see your doctor. And I mean, bless your heart, I mean, they do a great job, the primary care doctor. Right. But they're not in the business of optimizing your hormones. Right. And so I went and got tested, and this was many years ago. And so back then, the range was 350 to 1200 was the standard range for hormones. Right. And so I saw my doctor, and my number was the bottom number. It was 350. Wow. And so I looked at him, and he goes, well, Dave, he goes, it's just a bell curve, and you're on the bottom end of that. So you're good. So go diet, exercise, eat healthy, and you're fine. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, you know what? This happens to guys. And so I called my father-in-law, and my father-in-law was a physician for like 50 years. Right. And I told him about my symptoms, and he goes, well, how old are you? And I go, 33. And he goes, welcome to the beginning of death. He goes, it just gets worse. Right. He goes, so deal with it. Right. And so then I went through my about 5 years of just dealing with it. Right. And started having bad anxiety, depression. And so the doctor's like, here's an antidepressant. Right. And that didn't work. And so he says, well, here's another one. And then that kept me up all night, so here's a sleeping pill. Right. And so by the time I hit 38, I was on 5 medications for anxiety, depression, insomnia, and then I couldn't wake up, so they gave me like a phentermine the next day to try to stimulate my brain. And so I'm sitting back going like, well, here's all these pills. I still have anxiety. I still can't sleep. I still feel like crap. And then I went and saw my doctor, and he wouldn't treat me. So then I started doctor shopping, which is what a lot of guys do. Right, for sure. And I found this doc, and he only treats medical professionals, right? So I thought, well, this is the man. Right. And he's written like 19 books on hormones, and he had it all dialed in. And dude, he took me from like being low to off the charts high. Right. And like exploded me. And I'm like, well, this should feel good. No. I mean, so testosterone will convert to estrogen. Right. And so here I am, I'm bawling at my kids' play. I'm bawling my eyes out, my nipples are killing me, and I'm just like, what is going on? I gained 30 pounds, and so I call him up, and I'm like, what's going on? He goes, well, your estrogen's high. Yeah. I go, well, fix that. And so then he gives me a pill to block my estrogen, and trashed it. Right. And so talk about being the biggest asshole on the planet, That was you. And like my wife's like, you're a raging douche, right? And so I'm sorry about that.
No, you're good. Go ahead, man. We keep it real on HG Lifestyle.
And so I finally, like I said, when I figured myself out, then I found Ageless Men's Health. And when you methodically dial a man's testosterone into right where his needs are, and you do his blood work, you listen to your patient, you dial him into what his body's needs are, it makes a big difference. Yeah, no, it does, guys, and I can attest to that because I started my testosterone treatment a few years back, but it wasn't really treatment. It was, hey, here's this shot, go home and take it. That's all it was, right? Mm-hmm. There was no blood work done. There was no nothing. So I went through that as well, where I was emotional. Man, I'd be watching a freaking commercial, and I'd start getting teary-eyed, bro. And I'm like, man, this ain't me, But ever since I've paid attention to it, I mean, dude, I could tell you right now I'm 35 years old, and I feel like better than when I was 18, 19. Mm-hmm. I really do. So why don't you tell them, man, a little bit about, obviously you guys have heard the benefits, man, but if you're out there, you're going through some of these and you're kind of
What are the most common questions that people are afraid on why they don't go? Why don't you clear that up for them, man? Because I was there too, right? I was asking a lot of questions because I deal with a lot of anxiety, man. And I'm like, in fact, when I was about 24, 25 years old, I ended up in the hospital, bro, because I thought I was having a heart attack. Like, straight up, legitimately, I thought I was having a fucking heart attack. Yeah. And then they told me, oh, it's just severe panic attack. Well, panicked about what? Like, nobody scared me. Nobody jumped out of the bushes and said boo. So where the fuck did it come from, right? But what are some of the things that people fear, and what would you tell them to say? Don't worry about that, and
Good question. Unfortunately and fortunately, Dr. Google gives us a lot of stuff that is bad Dr. information.
Google. Yes,
and so I call that bro science, right? To where a buddy is talking to a buddy, and here, go take this testosterone and take this pill, and you go find some place from China that's going to provide you for testosterone that's not FDA approved. And so guys come in, and because testosterone kind of has a negative connotation because testosterone is synonymous with the word steroid, right?
Right.
And so the actual term steroid that people use for like getting bodybuilding is actually for the illegal stuff that people will use. Right. Testosterone is technically a steroid. It's a steroid molecule. Right. But it's the right stuff. It's identical to what the body's producing. Right. We're just replacing that. Right. And so there's a lot of negatives because, first of all, it's a controlled substance. Right. And for good reason, because people abuse it. Right. And so these guys come in, they have questions, they hear these studies about people having heart attacks by taking testosterone, they hear about blood clots, they hear about growing breasts by taking testosterone, and honestly, I'd say out of all my talking to guys always focus on the fact that one of our possible side effects is growing breasts. Right. I've never grown breasts on a guy.
Yeah, me
not
neither.
one time ever.
Right,
okay.
Right.
Because we manage that. We watch you. We're always keeping track of the guys. We have estrogen blockers if their numbers get a little bit too high. Right. Blood clots is a common thought. Because if you take too much testosterone, it makes your blood thick. Right. And so the guys who are abusing it typically have problems with this. But we watch that. We monitor that. If guys' blood gets a little tiny bit thick, then we got to pull some blood out like Red Cross does. Right. And so guys, I think the biggest thing that guys deal with is their commitment. And you kind of touched on this earlier, is that guys don't want to feel like they're not a man. Right. And they're like, no, I got this. No, this is the way God made me. No, I can just power through this. I can go do some exercising and eat healthy. Yeah. And just clean up my diet. I've had so many guys come in, we test their blood, they're low, and they go, well, I'll just be back. I'm going to go try doing myself. Right. 8 weeks later, they're back in my clinic. They're like, didn't work. Yeah. And so it's just more so their commitment of wanting to come in and just take the plunge and go, you know what? I need this. Right. And so then guys start. And that brings me up to another point too, is that this is not an overnight success. Right. We don't overnight just inject you with one shot and your body's going to just magically accept it and it's going to feel amazing. Right. I mean, some guys do. It's that miraculous. But I always tell my guys to give me about 12 weeks of therapy because that gives me time to do several blood tests and dial guys in. And because I don't want to try to go too hard too fast because then guys have side effects. Right. So we're very methodical. We're very calculated. We get guys' dose up there, and by the time you hit 12 weeks, you get the maximum effect of the therapy. Right. And then you go, it works. You keep doing it. Okay. Yeah, no, and that's good, guys. And I can kind of tell you guys a little bit about my positive experiences with it, just so you guys kind of understand, because I was in that same boat, right, where I'm like, man, what's going on here? But my relationships were trash, bro. Like they weren't good because I was always so short. Right. And a lot of it has to do with the business. I mean, I do run a business, and when the numbers are low, I'm just so pissed off, and I'm low on energy, and I'd get home and the kids would want to go somewhere, and I couldn't do it, man, because I just didn't have the fucking energy. Right. I felt like shit most of the time. And I mean, I did some research myself, but like you said, Dr. Google, man, gives you a lot of bad information. That's why I ended up in the hospital thinking I was having a heart attack, bro. It's because I typed in my symptoms and Google said heart attack. So I was like, fuck, I got to get to the hospital. And it wasn't the case. But look, some of the biggest benefits that I have today, guys, is my energy levels are crazy right now, man. Like I love being at the gym, and that has nothing to do with anything else other than I enjoy it because it makes me feel good, but my hormones are good right now, and that allows me to do that. I sleep, man, like
I can finally fall asleep. But that was one of the biggest things that I struggled with was sleep. I couldn't get to sleep. And I think that's a lot of my anxiety when it did happen was when I was laying in bed, always. So then what happened is I would go to bed thinking, I hope I don't have a panic attack tonight. And guess what? I had a fucking panic attack because I was thinking about not fucking having one. So like all those things are gone now. And that's why I wanted to have you on here, because I think it's important. But obviously now I know it's not just guys, gals too, right? What are some of the side effects gals deal with?
Kind of the same thing, but just not as extreme, right? Because the testosterone is not their primary hormone. But if you're a female and you're at the same age range, you're like your late 30s, early 40s, and one of the common complaints I get from guys is like their wife has zero sex drive.
Right.
I mean, they go months and they don't even think about it.
Right.
Right. And then women tend to get a little bit of the loose muscle, I call it. You know, they get jiggly.
Right.
You know, kind of those, thighs, the buttocks. You
Right.
know, the underarm right here, the tricep.
Right.
You know, and they go and they go work out and they eat healthy because women in general. I mean, they learn from an early age. I mean, they're 15, 16, and they overeat.
Right.
They're going to gain weight.
Right.
So they learn to diet much sooner than we do, because I mean we could hit 25, 30 and it's like eat whatever we want and we don't gain weight,
right.
So they're already used to dieting and exercising. It's important to them, and so then all of a sudden some things change, and so their sex drive goes down, their energy goes down, they're not sleeping well at night, and then they start having emotional issues, and that's the part to where even my wife, like, she'd watch a commercial on TV and she's like, what's wrong with me? I'm like breaking out in tears over this ridiculous stuff that I shouldn't be crying about. Right. And so a common thing I hear from women, one of the best things is my sex drive's up and I feel balanced.
Right.
I don't feel over emotional. I feel like I'm calm, relaxed. I'm sleeping better at night. And then you couple that with their husband coming in and getting therapy. I mean, it makes countless times I've had these couples come in and they're like, our marriage is better now
you said their marriage
than it ever has been in like 20, 30 years. Yeah. It's a better place to be.
Yeah, that's got to be a good feeling too, man, knowing that you were able to do that for people, man.
Love it.
Yeah, I bet, man. Well, what are some of the final things that you would kind of like the people to really know, man? What do you think they should know? What should they be looking at? And how should they go about changing them? How can you make them feel comfortable to say, you know what, it's okay, it's part of life, it's what we all go through, but there's an answer for it today. I mean, it's 2022. You don't got to deal with it anymore.
Yeah. So exactly. And that's the key is when you talk about hormones, I mean, and there's some scary stuff, rightly so, because there's people that don't do it right. And they just freely hand out hormones to whomever they want to, or people abuse it. But it's, go to some place that they're going to take care of you. Because as far as testosterone for men, there's very few treatments in medicine that you can do to do one treatment for a patient, and it spans across so much as far as a patient's health. So there's some recent data coming out showing that there's a 56% decrease in cardiovascular disease by being on testosterone.
Really?
There's a huge study done like 5, 6, 7 years ago, and there's 98,000 people, and they're all vets. So they're all 65 plus, they're all retired vets. And it showed a significant decrease in heart attacks, strokes, diabetes, high blood pressures.
From being on
testosterone. And so there is very few things in medicine to where you do one treatment and it's going to really increase
a lot of different things.
Yeah, and I don't want to say longevity because there's no proof to say it makes you live longer. But basically, if you're getting your butt off the couch and you're getting active and you're happier and less anxiety and you're sleeping better at night, you're going to have a better quality of life.
Yeah.
And so the biggest thing I would say is just don't be afraid. The first step is coming in, getting tested to see if you even qualify for therapy. But you want to do it through somebody who's a professional who knows what they're doing. Ageless Men's Health has 55 clinics for 15, 16 years. Wow. We've treated over 1 million guys across the country.
That's awesome.
We have very significant protocols as far as how to treat people. So maybe you're not close by an Ageless Men's Health. Find somebody who has a good reputation who's going to treat you because you start having those symptoms where you're like, hey, I don't think as clearly. I got these emotional problems. I'm gaining weight. I'm tired all the time. I can't sleep at night. And you're pounding rock stars. You're trying to work out. You're trying to eat healthy. And you're just every single year you're just getting farther behind the wall. So then go in, you get your hormones tested, and give it some time. And just watch the changes. Write down how bad you feel, because unfortunately, I mean, we're all guys and we forget how bad we feel. So 6, 8 months on the therapy, you're just like, I'm not feeling it. But you realize after you stop
that you were feeling it. You just didn't pay attention to the benefits. Yeah, dude. And the reason why I think it's so important too, man, is well, that is cool though. All the benefits from it with the studies and everything that it shows. But dude, I know a lot of badass entrepreneurs and people who just kick ass in business, and that is one of the biggest things too, man. Is they all talk about their hormones. That's kind of what pushed me to do it, honestly, man. Is I was talking to a guy that I met at an event center. Dude, this guy's doing $100 million a year with this company, crushing it, man. And so I'm talking to him, and he's like, dude, it all has to do with my health, man. The moment I got on this, and I mean, he's close to 50 now. But guys, like he said, don't be afraid. Just go find out where you're at, right? But like he said, because it's not just like you're not just gonna get some therapy and you can sit on your ass and do nothing, man. It'll probably make you want to get off the couch, would you say? But you still got to go out and actually be active, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, I read a lot of books like you do, as far as like, motivation and progression and business and growth development, and almost across the board, when you get some book that's like, how do you become a leader? How do you become successful? Right. One of the first things they say is exercise. Right. Yeah. Work out. That's the first and foremost, because like you said, if you're not doing something and taking care of your body, you can have $100 million, but you're sick, and then you're spending all your money on doctors. Yeah. But and if you're like 35, 45, 55, get your hormones tested, because that's going to make a giant difference. I had a patient come in, and he's been my patient for about like 5 or 6 years, and so he pays our fees, and he had some bills come up, and so his wife starts complaining about how much it costs to go get his hormones tested. Right. And she goes, and finally he has sat her down and says, look at my career path. Look where I was at before I got on testosterone. And you can see the moment he got on testosterone, and I can't promise this obviously, but his motivation increased, and he took off. Yeah. And he's making more money by like 2 to 3 times than he's ever made in his life. And he goes, this testosterone's paid for itself by far. Right. And so his wife stopped complaining about the cost and realizing what she has.
Yeah, that's good. And look, maybe he may not be able to promise it, guys, because he's just trying to be professional, but I can tell you right fucking now, man, that when I started feeling better about myself, my hormones were on point. Dude, I just feel like I could take over the world, bro. And I know I can, obviously, right? There's a lot of people out there who are bigger badasses than me, could whoop my ass, are making more money than me. But the point is I don't feel like I feel like I am the shit, man, and it's all because of my health, bro. Like honestly, now I'm in my mid-30s, bro. I'm closer to 40 than I am 30 now, and I feel better than I did in my 20s. I do, because in my 20s I was a piece of shit drug addict, and when I got myself clean, I didn't realize how it had affected my body, right? But dude, it's been a life changer for me. Everybody that I talk to, I always recommend it for them, but I'm not a professional, right? So I can't really. I'm just telling them what my benefits are, which is why I wanted to have you on here, man, because it's a huge, huge benefit. I can't even tell you. There's a reason why I have fitness before finance and freedom when talking about the 5 fundamentals, is because health is wealth. So guys, make sure if you feel any of the symptoms that we just talked about, check out the Ageless Men's Health Center. They're on Instagram, right? It's just Ageless Men's Health. Right?
Yeah, and you can go to our website, theagelessmenshealth.com, and then that has a list of all of our clinics. And so if you're close by one of our clinics, you can go in and get tested. If we don't take your insurance, we actually do offer free evaluations to where guys can come in, and we don't take most insurances, so most guys come in and their evaluation is for free, and that's going to give blood work just to see, are you low? Right. And then if a guy does qualify, and again, we don't take his insurance, then we actually do offer the first month at no charge. That's awesome. So you can kind of come in and try it out. That gets us to the first blood test, but just give us an opportunity to at least test you, and to bring up your point again is guys are worried about commitment. Right. And so we don't do contracts, and so if a guy likes it, wants to try it out, he can try it out for as long as he wants to, but just give us an opportunity to fix things and just try it out, and then we'll change your life. Yeah, it's amazing.
And I agree with him, guys. I can definitely test that it will change your life. So don't be afraid to try it. They're making it easy for you, free. Come on, free. And I promise you, in those 4 weeks, you said it's about 4 weeks that it's free, right?
Yep.
You will feel the difference. I'm telling you right now, because I felt it the first week. And the way I felt it, you know, ladies, forgive me for saying this, but was in the morning. When I woke up and I had that morning wood that I haven't had in years, bro. I was like, woohoo, I'm a teenager again.
It surprised you, right?
I did, bro.
You forgot about it, right?
Yeah, I forgot. I really did forget. So that's how I knew it was working, me personally, right? But then after that, I'm in my head thinking, oh shit, it's working. So then naturally I started to feel better. I'm hitting the gym more. And bro, I noticed too that when I got on testosterone, like people think I'm like this gym rat, bro, that's just like in the gym for 3 hours. Bro, 45 minutes to an hour is all I do. I just do it consistently. And because my hormones are on point, it allows me to build muscle better, right? Because that is one of the benefits of testosterone, right? Is weight loss and muscle gaining, right?
Absolutely.
See, there you go, man. What's holding you back? And ladies, what's holding you back, right? Because I know you want to have a better relationship with your man too. We all go through it. It's part of life. So just take care of your health. And what I know that obviously we're in Utah, so I know you have clinics in Utah. Are there any in other states or?
Correct. Yeah. So we got them in most major cities.
Okay.
We got a bunch back east, like New York. We got like 5 or 6 in Texas. We got a bunch in Mississippi, and then all across the West Coast. I mean, I think it's like 10 clinics in California, 3 in Nevada, 7 in Phoenix. We got 2 in Colorado, 5 in Utah, 1 in Idaho. So we have a ton of clinics out there, and we're all the same. I mean, we do a lot of research and development as far as like making sure that we're above bar on how we treat guys.
Right.
And that's important because there's some guys out there that you walk in and it's a mill. You know, it's just everybody walks in, everyone gets the same dose, and they say come back in 6 months.
Right.
That's crappy treatment.
Yeah.
You know, you need someone who's going to fine tune you. And so, yeah, we're in a lot of different locations, and we're super easy to get into. I mean, my clinic, we see about 700 guys a week through my clinic. Jeez. And you can still, as a new patient, get in most days the same day as a new patient.
Yeah.
So call up in the morning. We can usually get you in, and we make it very convenient. And then also another thing for guys, it's all about time, right? You know, is that we're all busting our hump out there. We're all supporting our families. We're all doing the right thing. And so they go, I don't want to go in every week.
Yeah, I don't have the time.
Well, you walk in. There's no appointments.
Yeah.
You know, once you qualified, you just walk in my clinic. It's a quick 10-minute visit, and we just plug you in the system. I call it plug and play testosterone.
Yeah.
You walk in, we take over. I don't want you to worry about it during the week. Just walk into my clinic, tell us how you're feeling. We'll take care of the rest. Yeah.
No, guys, and I'm a witness to that. So I'm going to tell you my experience. Wednesdays is usually when I go. So today I have to go. But I walk in, some lovely gal greets me at the front desk. She already knows my name. She looks me up. She pushes a button, and within 2 minutes, another wonderful young lady comes out and says, Jonathan, come on back. Within minutes, I'm out of there, guys. Like that quick. And when I was doing it myself, I was always like, oh man, I got to take the shot myself. My back would hurt because of having to reach over. I'd give myself fucking panic attacks because I'd hit a nerve and my ass would jiggle. And you know, now I don't have to deal with any of that. It's super simple. I go in because I'm the same way, bro. That was the first question for me too, man, is, dude, can I even make it every week? Because holy shit, that sounds over every week I got to go in. But guys, it takes me literally, this includes my drive from the office to the clinic, back to the office. Within 25 minutes, I'm done. And that includes my drive. So definitely recommend it. Make sure you hit up the agelessmenshealth.com.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yep.
Go follow him on Instagram. Go follow him on Facebook. Take care of yourself. I promise you, you won't regret it. Your significant other will thank you for it. Your kids will thank you for it. I mean, right now, guys, my relationships with everybody around me are a lot better because I'm not this angry asshole anymore, you know? So definitely go do it. Any final words you want to say, Dak?
No, I just want to say, just like you, testosterone has changed my life, and I'm 50, and I've been on this for 11 years.
50, you look great for 50, man.
Thanks, man. You know, I mean, I try like you know, I mean, you got to stay active and fit and eat healthy. But end of it all is like none of that would have happened without testosterone.
Right.
I mean, I was lost. and I had no idea. The regular medical pathway did not fill me.
Right.
It didn't solve my problems.
Right.
And I'm not going to say we're going to solve all your problems, but man, we're going to give you the space and create the environment where your body is going to get what it needs. And then you'll feel the same as you and me. I've seen it 1,000 times.
Right.
Give us a chance, and we will change your life.
Yeah. There you go, guys. And remember, man, your body, man, you should treat that like it's everything to you, right? I mean, I know a lot of guys out there that are proud of their cars. They wouldn't go throw salt in their gas tank, right? Mm-hmm. They always make sure they put the best gas in it and the best oil. And we'll treat your body the same way so that you can perform at an optimal level, do everything at a high level, guys. And I know that I keep saying this, but that's because I'm a firm believer that ever since I started taking care of my health, man, life is just better for me, man. I perform better. I'm a lot better relationship. So definitely check it out. Doc, I really appreciate you coming by. I know you're a busy man. I know you got to go run the clinic, so I won't keep you much longer, but I appreciate you coming here, man, and I'd love to have you back.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of questions that I know people would have because I had these questions. I just felt dumb asking them. Right. And I know a lot of you feel the same way. So guys, as always, thanks for tuning in. HG Lifestyle is a mindset, baby. Make sure you adopt it. We out.